It's official, David Coote has been sacked by the PGMOL. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around David Coote, who has officially been sacked by the PGMOL following an investigation into, of course, the videos that have surfaced in recent months regarding David Coote, his comments towards Jurgen Klopp, him appearing to sniff white powder whilst at the European Championships this past summer, along with potentially other investigative allegations of predetermining match events that he was officiating and overseeing during his time as a referee. This news should come as no surprise or no shock to anyone, but it is official that he has been sacked. And I know that this story happened a couple of days ago, and the seemingly ending of this part of the story has officially run its course. But I feel like I should maybe comment, because I have obviously covered this story quite extensively over the past couple of months. We talked about the videos, we talked about the David Coote situation, we talked about the state of the PGMOL, along with all other layers to this story. So I do feel like it was probably obligated that I did make some sort of comment or video on this to, of course, maybe tie this part of the story up. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about David Coote, we're going to be talking about the PGMOL, and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me what you make of this issue. Was it the right decision to sack him? Was it the wrong decision to sack him? What do you think will happen next for both the PGMOL and for David Coote? My guess is probably some sort of reality TV show like I'm a Celebrity, Big Brother, or Dancing on Ice or something like that. But, yeah, I'll leave that up to you guys. Right, let's go on with the video. Let's talk David Coote. Let's talk PGMOL. Let's talk Premier League. This news should come as no shock, no surprise to anybody. It was very unlikely David Coote was ever going to come back from the kind of hole he'd put himself in with those videos surfacing. Now, I've said before and I'll say it again, I find the media's defense of him rather strange and rather baffling. They basically brushed over the xenophobia that he showed towards Jurgen Klopp and basically said, well, the person at fault here is clearly the guy who leaked the video, who actually took the video and leaked it, rather than blame David Coote for his own actions and his own, well, his own actions and his own words. For those of you who've been living under a rock the past couple of months, the initial video comes out of David Coote slandering Jurgen Klopp, calling him a very expletive name. He goes on to also mention his nationality of German, which again, like I say, the media brushes over completely as if it's nothing. And then, in the follow-up to that, he basically says, look, that video can't go out. We can't leak that video for obvious reasons. Obviously, that seemed to happen after the COVID season or during the COVID season. That's where many people are guessing that video was filmed. And a few years later, it obviously surfaces. And apparently, there's been allegations that suggest that the PGMOL knew about this video and therefore took him off Liverpool games for a certain amount of time. In the aftermath of that video being leaked about a month or two ago now, more videos and allegations started to be leaked. A video of him snorting white powder whilst he was away during the international championships. He was obviously chosen to represent England's officials at that tournament. And apparently, in his free time over there, he was snorting something which we will call, for now, white powder. In the aftermath of that, there have been allegations of him predetermining certain match events that he was officiating. One such event was during a championship game, I think, between Leeds and West Brom, in which he had contact with a fan, basically seemingly arranging for the player Alioski of Leeds to be booked on the day. We've been over that. We've talked about all of those events, so go back and check out those videos if you haven't already. But all of that has seemingly added up to what we now know is an official sacking from the PGMOL. Now, like I say, it should come as no shock or surprise. It was going to be very difficult for the PGMOL to sort of brush this one under the carpet. Especially with them initially trying to make out that it was AI filmed, AI shot, it wasn't real. Only for that theory to be debunked an hour later when they eventually accepted the fact that, yes, that was in fact David Coote. He did say those things, and now he's in a whole lot of hot water. It's the right decision by the PGMOL. It is... I mean, I don't know why it took them this long, to be honest. It seemed pretty open and shut kind of case that he could never referee in the Premier League again. I think they were maybe hoping that maybe they could relegate him down to like the Championship or maybe somewhere lower, because Liverpool fans were certainly not going to be happy about him refereeing any Liverpool game or any game that obviously could impact Liverpool in some way, shape or form in regards to title contenders, top four contenders, or whatever Liverpool were challenging for as the season or in future seasons progressed. Then, of course, you have the allegations of him on white powder come out. It questions his mental state. It questions where he is mentally. It questions his decision making. Is he a clear sense of mind? How often is he doing this kind of thing? How often is his personal life maybe blurring into his professional life? And then you have obviously the allegations of him potentially match fixing certain events. And if that had been like a one-off, or maybe there had been more times where David Coote had done something similar. There are a lot of unanswered questions still in regards to that. There are unanswered questions seemingly in what exactly pushed the PGMOL over the edge to obviously fire him in the way that they have done. They did go on to put out a statement that he will no longer be working for them, but they will continue to work with him in terms of obviously his well-being and making sure that he's okay. Which obviously is the human element of all this. This human element should not be overlooked. I've said this time and time again. The human element should not be overlooked in this. There is a human being still there. Maybe his actions are a cry for help. Maybe his actions are he desperately needs help. That could all be possible and a possibility going forward. But like I say, it's good that they are taking care of him. But whilst this kind of shuts the case on this part of the story, we can't overlook the fact that there needs to be a massive clearing sweep of the PGMOL going forward. Drug testing is a prime example. Like if David, because what happens is because one referee's now gone and done this, it now brings into disrepute and question the integrity of the game, integrity of the other referees that are obviously in the game. Because if one referee's on it, who's to say that other referees aren't following suit? Who's to say that other referees aren't in the same boat as what he was? So that I think there needs to be drug testing implemented, because there is random drug testing for players, and if players obviously get found to be under the influence of something, they get a huge suspension. So I feel like it should be the same for referees, because again, there is the question of whether or not his personal life was blurring into his working life, and whether that was affecting his judgment, whether that was affecting his well-being on the pitch. We don't necessarily know for sure, unless of course the investigation has brought up more things that are yet to be brought to the public domain. So yes, there are a few unanswered questions there. There are a few unanswered queries and things. And like I say, this should not close the door completely. There are still things in the PGMOL that need to be cleared up. I find it baffling that Howard Webb has had radio silence on this throughout the entirety of its course, only putting out that kind of statement to say David Coote's been sacked but will continue with his well-being. I find it very weird that obviously Howard Webb has said next to nothing about this situation. It's really strange to me. This whole situation's been strange from the first moment those videos dropped right the way through to his sacking a couple of days ago. The lack of clarity from the PGMOL, the amount of defense that the mainstream media, the places like Sky Sports, Talk Sport, the pundits like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher were putting on this guy, like, it genuinely makes no sense to me that they would go to such lengths to defend him, that they would go to such lengths to basically try and salvage something from this story to make people maybe turn the tide for him rather than against him. It was very strange. It was a very strange, very weird situation. But like I say, we can't let up. We've got to keep on pressing until obviously change happens. We need more clarity on these kinds of situations. Like I say, we shouldn't stop holding the PGMOL accountable. Yes, they've eventually came to the right decision in sacking David Coote. Yes, they have made the right decision in focusing on his welfare and making sure that he is going to be okay. I 100% understand and get that. But at the end of the day, there are still some unanswered questions, and there are still some questions there that fans need answers to. Because, like I say, if one referee's doing all of these things, who's to say other referees aren't? Who's to say other referees aren't doing things in their personal life that may be affecting their professional life? Who's to say that referees don't hold agendas, don't hold certain biases, whether conscious or unconscious, against certain other teams? And who's to say that referees aren't predetermining certain match events? Who's to say this weekend when Arsenal take on Everton, the referee for that game isn't going to book an Everton player just because he doesn't like him? Who's to say in the Manchester derby coming up this weekend, who's to say the referee just doesn't like Man United, so he's just going to give every 50-50 to Manchester City? He's going to try and give them every possible advantage to try and win that game of football. We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure, and this is for throwing everything into disrepute. There are 1,000,001 different bridges that need to be repaired between the PGMOL and the fans. And the fact that Howard Webb has said nothing, and the fact that Howard Webb hasn't done anything, whether it be resign, whether it be comment on the situation, whether it be to inform the public of the steps that he's going to take to try and get the very best out of the referees that are currently in the PGMOL, currently refereeing in our game, it is completely baffling to me. It really, really is, and it's very strange, it's very weird, and the fact that no one else is calling out this is, again, another baffling element to this story. He was back on Ref Watch again last night, I believe. But yet nothing has been said about this situation. Fans need to question it. Clubs need to question it. Players need to question it. We shouldn't be silenced just because they've eventually arrived at the right decision on one particular element of this massive story, this massive problem that exists within our game today. Those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy on this David Coote situation. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in the comment section. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading on this situation. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening, and thank you all for your brand new or even continued support. If you are brand new, welcome along to the channel. Nice to have you here with us on this journey. Thank you all so much for doing that. It really does mean the world to me. So thank you for your support on the channel and to myself. It really does mean a great deal and will never ever be taken for granted. Always will be appreciated. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again.